Damn, that shit was bananas, wasn't it? That was bananas. Bananas. Did somebody say banana bagels? No, just bananas. With Nagi on her back, Mikuro took several trophies from the gym entrance hall, and after passing through the door leading to the hallway, she jammed the trophies through the door handle. Though the Ugame could easily destroy these makeshift locks, they could buy Mikuro a few extra seconds. Actually, wait a minute. Did they call Sakura? Did they call her Ugame Sakura Ugame, or did they call her I think Ashina actually called her Sakura. So I'm probably not even doing it right. But I don't remember anymore. Then Mikuro started running to the nurse's office, the place she last spoke to Nagi. Everything necessary for performing the first aid could be found there. Little sister was her enemy. Her ultimate fellow students were her enemy. Her only ally right now was Nagi, who was on the verge of death. Mikuro knew that she wasn't her own ally right now. Amidst all this chaos amidst her sister's betrayal and nearly being killed, she believed. She believes that she was the only one who truly understood her little sister. And that's why she felt she had to protect her.
That's right, you didn't do anything wrong, Junko. You just want to feel despair, that's all, right? You just fucking love that shit, don't you? Because you love me. That's why you wanted to kill me. You were trying to feel despair, right? I'm sorry, I feel to bring you despair.
At the same time, she wondered if Danganronpa, if she says Nagi betrays her sister by disrupting her plan, wouldn't that fill her with an even stronger despair? I mean, hope. Wait, wrong voice for that. For an even stronger despair. Wouldn't that make her happy? But betray Junko? What should I do? Mikuro closed her eyes and listened to Nagi's weak breaths. What
should I do, Nagi?
A battlefield where all you need to do is kill and survive, Mikuro was invincible. She could suppress all her emotions and fully immerse herself in becoming a perfect killing machine. But on this twisted battlefield of daily high school life, she could no longer keep her emotions in check, especially around her little sister. Mikuro, the ultimate soldier, was beginning to be questioned from being ultimate despair. The impulse of the normal high school girl inside her were starting to affect her state of mind. Even so, the full girl continued to run through the dark hallways, clinging to this conflict within herself. She was now walking along a narrow, hair-thin path between the hope of Makoto Nagi and the despair of Junko and Oshima. Bum bum bum. Meanwhile, everyone still in the gym was still left in a state of complete confusion. Fukawa was famous for being a prolific author, but even though she came across as unsociable and depressing, her mind-blowing transformation seemed to have tossed all that aside.
Fukawa, is Shinosaur's shoe?
Mizuno trembled with fear as Shu tilted her head and stuck out her long tongue.
Oh, what's with this reception, you guys? You guys didn't know who I was? Have I been found out? Or have you known all along? Ooh. And why was the Sultan Samurai dressed like that? And if it didn't look good on her at all?
The Sultan Samurai was probably referring to Mikuro, which means Fukawa already knew Mikuro in advance. Confronted by that shocking truth, the students had no idea where to begin talking. So many points were clearly wrong by this point. So many things were clearly wrong by this point. Oh, that's right, because I remember in the original, it was like, it erased Fukawa's memories, but not Shinosaur's Shu's memories. So she still remembered everything. There were a few students such as Tagami and Kiyagiri who opted to remain calm and observe the situation.
Alright, someone better spill it. Who gave Nagi an extra mouth to feed? I don't care if you want to stab him or slice him. I just can't forget whoever put that big ugly ass hole in Big Mac's side.
Big Mac, that's funny. No, Shinosaur's Shu spun her scissors in her hand. As she spoke, her emotions and facial expressions constantly changed. Even without the threat of her scissors, she exuded an aura of danger that made her unapproachable.
The flank stick of a young boy like Makaroons is like a bluebird that pops out of a golden egg. If you would just let me handle it, I would have killed him so good that even Tittle and Middle would be eager to die. But poor Malchiotes Hard and Sullivan stomped on by such a sloppy kill. Oh, that actually sounds pretty exciting too. But I decline. Kyle, you're not making any sense.
Screamed Ashina.
What in the world happened to you?
Shinosaur's Shu answered by pointing her scissors at Ashina.
What happened to me? I got bored, that's what. That sourpuss locked me up a few days ago, but when she went unconscious, I thought I'd finally get to do my thing. But I woke up for all this. My cutie's soaked up with blood, and I got no clue what's going on. So damn confusing, all I can do is laugh.
Don't seem to be able to get a straight answer out of Shu, so Yamada made a timid remark.
I've dealt with girls like this in my 2D dating games, but this doesn't even compare. It's like there's an SSSS difficulty to clear.
Man, I can't believe you think about her as someone worth clearing, mumbled Leon. It was clear that things were going nowhere. As if she was responding to everyone else's expectations, Ugame stepped forward. She might be in the throes of confusion. I should try to restrain it for now. As soon as she heard that, Genocide's Shu stopped moving, stuck out a lizard tongue, and grinned wickedly.
Oh, what's up? Are you ready to fight me, Battle Ogre? Too bad my lowly scissors are only for cutting through adorable boys. Why don't you just stay home? I won't take my scissors with your filthy blood.
Replied Ugami. It seems my words are useless on you. Ugami entered her fighter's stance, determined to restrain Shu. But Shu knew she wouldn't win in a fair fight, and adopted a strange stance of her own. In a normal fight, Shu would obviously lose to Ogre, but if Shu focused on just dodging her attacks, the outcome of the fight would be hard to foresee. Of course, Genosire Shu's physical abilities were only obvious to a few of the students in the first place. The two women exchanged hostile stares as the other students gulped nervously and watched. Ugami's like, holy shit, this is all starting off with a bang, isn't it? God damn, when will this roller coaster of a chapter end? Except for one person. Kyogre is watching something else. She's watching Monokuma, who's in the corner of the gym, moving, as white noise emitted from its speakers.
Beep, beep, beep. Testing, testing, beep.
It stopped moving the moment everyone's attention focused on Ugami and Fukawa. It's possible that Madara's hacking had been disrupted, but an infinite number of other possibilities were also swirling around Kyogre's mind. She pressed back her hair with a gloved hand and continued to watch. Though she can't fully remember her talent, the actions she was taking right now were fueled by her pure instinct. The strange situations that kept occurring in front of her were shaking her to her very core. Her mind worked diligently to scoop up countless amounts of information from her vast sea of memories, as they were synchronizing with the synapses firing in her brain. Ugami and Fukawa kicked off the ground at the same time, and an intense impact ring throughout the gym. I was getting good though. Damn it. Thanks to the heat of battle that was unfolding in the gymnasium, Mikuro Ikasaba was able to buy more time than she had imagined. As soon as she entered the nurse's office, she rummaged around for the medical supplies and did what she could to stop the bleeding. Though still quite shallow, Nagi's breathing slowly stabilized. Mikuro had a sigh of relief. However, even though she was somehow able to stop the bleeding, she wasn't out of the woods yet. Miraculously enough, it seemed like none of Nagi's major arteries or organs were damaged.
This is perhaps thanks to his ultimate bullshit, luck.
Or maybe he wasn't actually lucky at all. After all, the only sort of medical treatment he could hope for was partial at best. Mikuro couldn't decide.
If I could do a blood transfusion.
Nurse's office should have had several blood packs for transfusions. Mikuro suspected that Nagi's blood type might be written in his handbook, but as she reached over to search his pockets...
Aha! So you're reaching for a sleeping boy's clothes? What in the world is about to happen next? I'm just gonna keep playing, but you kids better press the B button, okay? Ah!
Mikuro turned around to the film voice saw Monokuma standing before her.
You're all alone with Nagi right now. Just think of me as a cute wild animal layer less lead of the way. As a headmaster, I must protect an illicit sexual relation, but physical education classmates are just fine, Missy.
Though he looked just like the one that was at the gym, he's clearly a different Monokuma. All the Monokumas have been placed throughout the entire academy, so it wasn't a stretch for him to appear out of nowhere.
Nah, I just love crawling through the floorboards. That's how I get around.
Regardless, the same person was controlling all of them. Mikuro had been wary of Monokuma attacking her while she was treating Nagi's wounds. His appearance at this particular moment seemed to take her by surprise. Junko? asked Mikuro cautiously. Monokuma tilted his head along with his entire body inquisitively.
Junko, who's that? Junko, I've never heard of that country before. No more jokes. Answer me, Junko. You were planning to kill me earlier, right? Junko this, Junko that. What's your problem? I'm telling you, I'm Monokuma, bitch. Must be a bit disappointed if you can't even remember something like that. You're not just a disappointment as a person. You're a disappointment as a sister too. You're too skinny, and your brain is nothing but muscles, and your personality is just unbearable. I'm sorry.
Said Mikuro. She needed to apologize, but hearing her little sister call her a disappointment yet again was enough to make the ultimate soldier recoil. Man, don't take that shit, Mikuro. Monokuma ignored her in her current situation, climbed on top of Nagi's barely breathing body and began poking his cheeks.
Hey, Nagi! So what are you gonna do with Nagi now? I'm really interested in human mating habits, you know. What are you?
Asked Mikuro before trailing off. Monokuma lowered his tone and began whispering into her ear.
Oh!
Whispering.
Oh! Nagi's a pretty nice guy, huh? He even sacrificed himself to save you. He's so generous. It's actually hopeless. Oh! He's not dead yet.
Insisted Mikuro. Despite her firm tone, she couldn't hide the fear lingering in her voice.
Oh! That's the most disappointing thing about you. You can't even say, I won't let him die. I won't let him die, Junko.
Mikuro could barely get a word in as Monokuma erupted into continued to torment her.
As if you could do that. Too bad, no regrets. See you tomorrow. Is this all because Nagi was the first person to smile at you? You, a disappointing, depressing, ugly, like a human killing machine.
Oh, despite denying that it was Junko, Monokuma began speaking at length about Makuro's past. This contradiction was very much like Junko. Makuro was so shaken that all she could do was watch the bear prattle on and on.
Only the fit survive in this world. The only thing that kind-hearted people do is die, you know. That's proof you're gonna watch Nagi die really soon. Oh! He won't die.
Makuro's tone of voice has just become irregular ever since she took off her Junko wig. Aside from her conversation with Nagi, everything she said as Junko was from a script that her sister had written. But now there's no script for Makuro Alana anymore. Makuro was treating Monokuma like she would treat her own sister. The other students saw her acting so weak they'd never believe she was the same person who fought Ugami in the gym. And not just that, if anyone from her past could see her now, her stark change in attitude might make them think she was someone else entirely. Monokuma continued to rail against Makuro.
Nope, he's gonna die. I know it's sad, but you just have to face the facts.
Monokuma wriggled his limbs and danced around and then pointed at Makuro's face.
Because Nagi's going to die by your hands! Huh? Infighting among the terrorists. The big bad terrorist silences the weak-willed. Nagi... Well, Nagi, before he can leak any information, doesn't happen all the time. In the end, all the desperate things you said in the gym turned out to be the lies you told us to just escape. No!
Makuro frowned at Monokuma.
You can't do that, Junko. I won't let you do that.
As she blurted out those words in a trembling voice, Makuro was gripped with a confusion about what she just said.
Am I defying Junko right now? Why?
It was a strange feeling. To Makuro, it was like staying on the ledge of a tall building and imagining what would happen if she jumped. An obstructed feeling akin to holding a friend's baby and wondering what would happen if she tripped and fell. Before she knew it, fear and anxiety had suddenly taken over Makuro's heart. As a member of Fenrir, and as ultimate despair, Makuro had killed innumerable people. She'd handled live grenades before. She had descended from the sky in a parachute as anti-aircraft weaponry fired all around her. Her heart had never wavered on the battlefield, but now it felt like it could collapse any second. Monokuma, however, was as stable as a tree and slightly tilted his head to the side.
Huh? Weren't you listening to my story? I'm not the one who's gonna kill Nagi. You are! What are you saying, Junko?
Monokuma began giving a very strange expression to a very confused Makuro.
Do you know what the suspension bridge effect really means? It means you push the person you love off a bridge and they'll be yours for eternity. I haven't heard that at all. Life doesn't always follow what your textbook says. It's sad, but that's what love is.
His words made no sense. Makuro couldn't think of anything to say as she stood there dumbfounded. Meanwhile, Monokuma continued his little speech, intentionally saying things to him meant to antagonize Makuro.
Basically, this is your big chance, you know. If you kill Nagi right here and now, and nobody will ever take him away from you again. Monk under Nagi, dead by dawn. The last name he ever spoke was Makuro Ikasaba. The last person he ever smiled at was Makuro Ikasaba. Doesn't that sound wonderful?
There's a certain appeal to Monokuma's twisted suggestion, and Makuro found herself unsure of her own judgment.
This is wrong. It has to be wrong. But it's really Junko saying all this. So doesn't that mean it's right? No, this isn't Junko. It's Monokuma. Monokuma. And are you sure you want to help Nagi? Once he gets better, he's gonna know everything. I don't know what you did to your classmates. I can't believe you would actually erase your friends' memories and their time together and force them to kill each other. Nagi might get mad at you and say, our real enemy isn't the bear, it's her! Do you really want him to blame you for this?
Makuro's face turned pale.
Or are you going to kill the others? If everyone except you and Nagi dies, you'll be able to spend the rest of your school life together. We can't hold a class trial with only 2 people. It might be a good idea for both of you. For you both to live the rest of your lives in this academy forever. No, that's wrong, And what are you going to do if his memories return? It's not like you were dating Nagi or anything. You were just watching him from afar the whole time. Man, you're so shy. You can shoot people's hearts and brains, no problem, but you can't even woo some stupid boy into liking you.
Aww. So she had a crush on Nagi. No.
I know, he's so short and adorable. I just can't help but love him. Do you want to know who Nagi had a crush on before his memories were taken away?
Makuro trembled as Monokuma continued pressing the issue, gradually loosening the screws, keeping her heart secure. It's probably Mizuna, right? So Makuro chose to pretend she didn't hear anything at all. All emotion vanished from her face, and she looked silently for Anagi's handbook.
If you're looking for a split guy, start reading the handbook.
Makuro's face turned pale. Within 5 seconds, her plan to ignore Monokuma had already failed.
But since your masters may have a 50% kindness, I'll tell you anyway. Nagi's blood type is B!
As soon as she heard him say that, all the anxiety, horror, hostility, malice, and dread shrinking within Makuro had suddenly disappeared.
Thank you, Junko.
Makuro's eyes sparkled with without a hint of suspicion, so she turned her back to Monokuma without without a hint of suspicion. Oh, this is in big, bold, yellow text. And walked toward the refrigerator containing the blood packs. No.
First blood pack should have been prepared before the plan took effect. The last cold storage for 21 days. This should still be good.
Despite her emotionless face, Makura let herself feel a small amount of satisfaction as she took a blood pack from the fridge. As Monokuma watched her, his normally emotionless eyes twitched ever so slightly. If a third party could see his face right now. Or if even the other students could see his face right now, they'd wonder.
Is Monokuma surprised? I say to myself.
That's right, they'd have the same shocked look on their faces as if they were seeing Monokuma for the first time. At that moment, a whisper crept out of Monokuma's emotionless face.
There should be a limit to how disappointing you can be.
It's far quieter than a mosquito's wings. Even her battle-hardened hearing, Makura couldn't hear what she said. Monokuma shook his head and the voice returned to normal.
It's not like I care that you, the ultimate despair, has hope in anything. It's not like I expected much from you to begin with, so this will at least help me feel despair. But seriously, you disappoint me. So you know, despair and disappointment are completely different things, okay? They're as different as bears and pandas. What are you?
Makura's body started shaking as she turned back to look at Monokuma. He hadn't started talking any differently than usual. Junko had turned off the voice modulator and started talking in a real voice. Hadn't turned off the voice modulator and started talking in a real voice or anything. And Makura was utterly terrified. She was terrified on instinct, not as a soldier. Half the reason she was terrified was because of her instincts as the ultimate despair. And the other half was because she was Junko's older sister. Even through Monokuma, her instincts were telling her that Junko was annoyed with her.
Junko? Why? Why are you annoyed? Is it because I betrayed you? Or is it because I didn't die like you wanted me to? Ugh!
Sulked Monokuma.
I'm beyond annoyed! I'm really, really angry, and I'm really, really disappointed right now! I'm so pissed I can take a rage nap right now!
Monokuma's anger didn't seem any different from his usual anger towards the students, but Makura could instinctively sense another emotion mixed with it. Right now, she could feel that Junko was feeling hopeless disappointment. It's normal for someone who's disappointed to lose hope, but for ultimate despair, disappointment means something else entirely. To them, disappointment was tantamount to losing despair itself. Makura was a member of Ultimate Despair. At her sister's behest, Makura had sold her hands many times in order to fill the world with despair. Despite her pride toward being a member of Ultimate Despair, there was a clear difference between Makura and her sister. Junko Machine was despair incarnate. Dun dun dun. She was born in despair, letting it affect people's hopes so it could rot them from the inside, twisting them to her own image. For Junko, feeling hope was its own despair. Creating despair in others created despair in herself, which caused her to feel intense pain and intense bliss. Junko had walked the fracture created from the conflict between pleasure and penance all her life. Eventually, the fracture would widen until it swallowed the world and tore it in half. But Makura, on the other hand, had neither hope nor despair for the world, at least not when she was a member of Fenrir. Ever since she was a child, Makura believed she was meant to spread despair because of her sister. She didn't harbor any ill will toward the world, she simply accepted she was meant to spread despair and chose to walk the same path as her sister. Man, fuck that. Like, ugh. It's like, I still find it such fucking bullshit that, like, Junko can, like, you know, spread her, like, influence on every fucking body, you know? It's like nobody, like, I don't know, lashed out and, like, had the balls to try to fucking kill her, you know? Not even her sister, it's like, ugh. She just accepted, oh, I'm just gonna do that, you know? That she felt was only a recent development. When Junko told her about it, the plan, when she watched the world burn at the hands of the terrorists wearing Monokuma masks, she never wavered once. However, as soon as she heard about their sister's plan to make their classmates kill each other, Nagi included, a strange feeling began to stir within her. What started as a seed of doubt soon grew into a thorny vine and snaring Makura's feet. As soon as she disguised herself as Junko and finished the meeting the other students, as soon as she confirmed that everyone's memories had been completely taken away, that vine began tightening around Makura's heart. They're gone. Junko...
They're gone. The Junko's the only one who knows about me now. That's it. That's no problem. It's just like old times. Things will never go back to how they used to be, but that's fine. This should be fine.
She relinquished the past 2 years she had spent with her friends so she could betray them and deliver death and despair unto them. Though her heart ached, Makura was beyond feeling guilt or remorse for her actions. The question,
why does my heart ache like this?
Still remained unanswered. Perhaps that's why she spent so much time talking to Nagi when she was in the nurse's office. And when Nagi gave her that one particular answer, something changed inside her.
Return, I promise that if I do decide to kill you, someone won't be you.
The words Makura blurted out to Nagi weren't improvised to further her role as Junko. It was an honest sentiment from the bottom of her heart. She was even planning to ask Junko herself if Nagi could somehow be spared from her plan. She loved Nagi. Over the past 2 years, Makura's interest had been slowly shifting from her sister and toward the world itself. By extension, her interests also included Nagi, the first person who ever to ever smile at her and make her feel connected to the world. She was like a sapling of pure honesty that had taken root in Makuro's heart. Oh, he was like a sapling. But by the time she realized that, the tree had already rotted. As Makuro struggled to understand the situation, Monokuma let us sigh and said,
I wonder which part of you is a wolf anyway. You're just a dog that blindly follows Juka's orders. What does that tattoo on your hand even mean? Are you just a bitch who's pledged her loyalty to her owner? I bet Fukao would say that. I'm positive.
Monokuma continued to talk as Makuro stood in her confusion.
I was obviously lying when I said Naganagi's blood type is B. What? You lied, Junko? No person would have been suspicious. I never thought you would actually believe me just now. I must have misplaced my eyes because I totally did not see that coming. Not even with my ability to predict the future. How shocking. Jeez, I'm about to start crying my eyes out like some sort of robot cat. Seriously. It's going to be okay, Junko. I know our plan kind of fell apart, but I'm still on your side. Are you feeling alright? Because I'll do anything. Stop.
Harsh sound came from Monokuma's mouth.
That sound was one of my circuits overloading. It's been so long since I felt this angry. Meet me on the roof of the school. I'll smash out all your baby teeth.
Monokuma started shadow boxing in front of Makuro, who remained frozen in place, clutching a blood pack in her hand. She's still confused, and Monokuma threw up his arms in frustration.
You're so disappointing. I can't even predict it anymore. Roar!
A threatening roar burst from Monokuma's mouth as he leapt at Makuro with his sharp claws extended. At that moment, her face became completely emotionless. It was not a conscious action. It was the defensive instinct she honed during her time with Fenrir temporarily suppressed her emotions as she countered Monokuma's attack. Makuro grabbed a nearby IV stand and used it to parry Monokuma's claws. Monokuma's claws seemed to be made with a special alloy and easily sliced the bar in half diagonally. Instead of following Monokuma's attack, Monokuma continued talking to Makuro.
I guess you're not much of a disappointment when it comes to fighting. In fact, if you were so pathetic that you died from that single attack, that would have been interesting in its own way. Right now, you're just incompetent at everything. I'm sorry,
said Makuro.
I couldn't help blocking your attack. There's no way I can fight you, Junko. After all, I'm all you have. I'm the only one who understands you at all.
Makuro's words were riddled with endless dismay. The contrast between her usual stoic self and the way she was acting now was so stark, people might assume she had multiple personalities. Like her sister. However, Monokuma just quietly stared at her. He was perfectly still as if all his functions had powered down completely. And Makuro continued to share her feelings.
There's no way I can just leave you alone.
And then Monokuma broke his silence. But at that moment, a monitor in the nurse's office lit up, displaying a girl's face, Junko Nishima. At the same time, a voice completely unlike Monokuma's began to display from the speakers.
Hey, Makuro! Junko!
It's been several days since Makuro had heard from her sister's real voice. Though her face remained emotionless, excitement sparkled in her eyes. However, the shine immediately dulled.
I'm grateful you, Makuro. I mean it.
Junko's voice emanating from the speakers sounded very gentle and kind.
Junko, I'm really sorry. I said so many mean things to you. I even tried to kill you earlier, and I was about to make you do something horrible just now. Even though I know about your feelings towards Nagi, I don't. You don't have to force yourself. Even if you didn't notice, it was totally obvious to anyone looking at you. You never care about the class photos, but when Nagi said he was going to take one, you made sure you were facing the camera. And then
Junko Nishima, the ultimate spirit, flashed a smile. A pure white, pure sweet smile. On the monitor, she looked like a normal high school girl teasing her older sister. I'm wondering, can the other students see this? Tagami's in the other room, like, oh, there, look, she's the mastermind.
Oh, fuck, I only meant to show it in this room. Shit!
And yet, Makuro could feel her despair and anxiety encasing themselves around her.
I always thought you should have tried hard to take pictures with Nagi. But I guess that's what makes you so disappointing. Still, even though you're disappointing and annoying, I still love you.
Makuro trembled upon hearing those words.
I love you.
That's all she ever wanted to hear her sister say. Makuro believed. No matter what Junko said, she believed she really loved her. She believed she was the only one who could truly understand the despair known as Junko Nishima. She was naive. As soon as she heard Junko say, I love you, Makuro realized she never completely understood her sister. It was only at this moment that Makuro finally understood her sister's true feelings. Junko's words right now were kind. Perhaps the kindness was completely honest. The words, I love you, might have been true as well. However, for Junko Nishima, this was her way of saying goodbye. She was severing the ties between them. It was painfully clear to Makuro. And then, before she could even say anything, the girl in the monitor had a remark that cut Makuro to the bone.
I'm sure someday you'll make your dreams come true.
Ultimate Spirits never talked to each other like this. A simple truth stabbed into Makuro's heart. Junko had no further use for her. Her own sister was parting ways with her. Makura had dedicated her over 10 years of her life to the cause of ultimate despair, and at this moment it all counted for nothing. But those years no longer mattered to Makura. Her sister's rejection was more than enough to send her into depths of despair. So Makura, even now, clung to a small sliver of hope. Meanwhile, Junko was still on the monitor.
Yeah, right. Did you really think I'd say something that nice? You're so annoying. Can you just hurry up and disappear already?
Makura hoped Junko would say something like that. She hoped that she'd start verbally abusing her again or call her useless and incompetent. Makura was no masochist, but she preferred to be showered with bullets and contempt than endure this kind of emotional pain. But
I love you, Makura. Bye-bye.
the monitor went black, leaving Makura to process the horrible goodbye that she just received. As if on cue, Monokuma started moving again.
Isn't family love so nice? By the way, did you know that in about half of all the murder cases, the killer is a family member?
Monokuma spoke in his unusual tone of voice, but it was unclear if his words were getting through to Makura. Makura let the blood pack in her hand fall to the floor and tightened her grip on the iron bar she was holding.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Junko, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
She moaned quietly as if she was chanting a spell and walked past the blood pack on the floor to Nagi's bedside with the iron bar in her hands.
I'll do it. I'll do it properly. I'll make sure I do it. So. Oh?
said Monokuma, perking up.
What are you gonna do properly to Nagi? To Nagi with that big thick rod you got there? Oh! You know what? Are you gonna do him? Are you gonna do him in? Either way, I'm starting to feel some heart-throbbing excitement.
Makura looked like she'd been completely broken. Monokuma walked closer to her with eager anticipation. Suddenly, Monokuma's body silently floated into the air.
Huh?
With no expression on his face, Monokuma tried to see what had just happened to him. In the blink of an eye, an iron bar ripped through his body.
Holy fuck! Ah!
The tip of the bar, which had been cut diagonally earlier into a sharp point, went straight through Monokuma and stabbed into a surveillance camera. The lens was completely destroyed, and the camera shot out sparks as it broke down. The iron bar was still stabbed into the surveillance camera as Monokuma dingled from the other end. He opened his mouth as if to say something, but only static came out.
No! Is this how I die? This is the end? Oh wait, no, there's like 30,000 of more of me, never mind.
Six later, his functions came to a complete stop. Without making a sound at all, Makura had kicked Monokuma into the air, and as soon as Monokuma's power source and his bomb circuit had perfectly aligned with the surveillance camera in the nurse's office, Makura plunged the iron bar into all three of them. Oh, that's awesome! Oh, Matrix powers go! No normal human has the skill to utilize such a technique, not even an ultimate. All the hesitation within Makura had vanished. Her eyes sparkled like a panther stuck in its prey at night. She's like,
I'm gonna fuck Nagi!
she declared out loud, ripped Nagi's clothes off, and Nagi's gonna wake up like, wait, what's happening? Oh my god! Tensor surrounded Makura even more so than when she fought Ugami earlier. Ignoring Monokuma's lifeless form, she looked at Nagi as he breathed slowly and remembered her sister's parting words.
So this is despair.
She mumbled to herself.
I'm so sorry, Junko. I never really understood what despair was.
She spoke without emotion, like a machine.
It's going to be alright now. I finally understand.
And within her, passions began to stir.
So, I'll make sure I make you happy, Junko. I'll make sure I fill you with despair. I'll save Nagi. I'll make sure the others don't die. I'll let them escape from this place. I'll deal with the people on the outside too. You've wasted so much time and killed so many people for the sake of this plan. I'll destroy every last remnant of it for you.
It's not an act of vengeance toward the sister who had abandoned her. It's an act of mercy. Stuck between the ultimate despair and the hope that she gained from Nagi, Makura was being refined to something that was unlike despair, hope. She had no way of knowing where her path would lead. To the future! Sweet. Now she's gonna go on a fucking rampage. She's like, fuck those other trials! Over 10 minutes had passed. Sound students leaving the gym, making their way to the nurse's office, ring throughout the hall. Genocide Shu had continued to dodge Ugami's attacks with their tricky movements. But when Tagami blurted out, "Enough already, you irritating pervert," Genocide Shu stopped in her tracks. Stop that, you dirty whore.
Oh my god, did you call me a dirty whore? Oh, he remembered my name. Oh.
No, I called you a dirty...
Oh my god, he said it again. Oh my god. Oh, let's do it now. Let's do it now, Tagami. I'm so ready.
Oh my god. What the hell is going on?
Oh my. Getting chewed up by my mystical Tagami is making my masochistic side get all tingly. They say the line between sadism and masochism is paper thin, but in my case it's more like a Venn diagram. Words can't explain these hot waves of passion scoring from the top of my head to the tips of my toes.
She rambled incoherently about Tagami. The other students tied her with a microphone cable from the locker gym and locked her in her room. After the students stayed behind to keep an eye on her, while the rest left to search the grounds of the school. As soon as the door to the nurse's office opened, Kiyogiri saw a non-functioning Monokuma with a hole in its chest and the remains of a surveillance camera. It wasn't just in the nurse's office, though. On their way here, the students had seen several distorted surveillance cameras and scattered Monokuma bodies.
Oh my god! She's on a rampage! Somebody stop her! Save me! Save me, Kiyogiri! Save me, NicoB!
Ha! Oh boy. I've been waiting for this, and he just goes over and he sticks a big wad of money and sticks it in his fucking wound hole.
Oh, you dick!
Ha ha! Oh, that's right. Suck on my big wad. There's a clear violation of the school regulations, but if Mikuro was allied with Monokuma, those regulations wouldn't apply to her anyway. The Monokuma said the gym was no longer moving, and the students had lost contact with the hacker, Bashiki Madare. So the students assumed that Madare had taken control of a different Monokuma and went after Mikuro on his own. With that in mind, Kiyogiri turned and looked inside the nurse's office once again. It was unusually quiet, the beds were empty, but Kiyogiri could see from the bloodstains that someone had been resting here recently.
Looks like they're already gone.
Looks like they're already gone. Owada remarked as he was about to leave. Kiyogiri spoke up behind him.
I'm going to stay here with Fujisaki and search for clues. Huh?
Said Fujisaki, her timid eyes widening.
Clues?
Kiyogiri continued to speak in a calm tone of voice.
Yes, there may be some clues in these Monokuma remains. I figure you would be the best candidate for investigating machinery.
Ugami spoke up. But isn't that dangerous? Since Ugami could clearly hold her own with a fight with Mikuro, she had joined the other students in searching the school grounds. Kiyogiri shook her head and replied,
I'm sorry to say this, but if things get out of hand, Fujisaki and I will just be in your way. I think it's better if we search for clues here instead of doing nothing. Besides, we might be able to use Monokuma's parts to detect any radio broadcasts from the outside world.
You certainly have a point. Understood. We will be exploring this floor for a while. Please shout for us if anything happens. Ugami left for the nurse's office.
How did you destroy a Monokuma like this?
As Fujisaki cautiously stood over Monokuma's remains, Kiyogiri started searching through the room. She zeroed in on one of the beds and began studying it intensely. A moment later, Kiyogiri was satisfied with what she found and let out a small sigh before she spoke.
Fujisaki, let me apologize to you in advance. Huh? I dragged you into this gamble of mine, so if anything happens, run out into the hallway and call for help. What does that mean?
Instead of answering Fujisaki's question, Kiyogiri started talking to one of the empty beds.
Let me say this first. I'm prepared to hear your story. No matter how ridiculous it may sound, I promise not to decide if it's a lie or the truth until I've listened to it in its entirety.
Fujisaki looked confused. She didn't understand what Kiyogiri meant at all. The ultimate question mark lowered her eyes and turned to the ultimate program to make a request.
Fujisaki, does your laptop have a voice recording function? And do you have a microphone? Yeah. Won't you use that to record everything we're about to hear?
There's no one here. As Fujisaki wondered to herself, she began connecting Monokuma's parts to her laptop to turn on the record function. She's still hiding in the room or something?
I'm sure I'll pick up every sound in this room now.
Fujisaki said nervously. Satisfied, Kiyogiri nodded and once again started talking to the empty bed.
So what were you going to do if I told everyone that I found Nagi?
When she heard Kiyogiri say that, Fujisaki looked back at her and was surprised by what she saw. At the moment, the ultimate program was kneeling on the floor next to Monokuma's remains. From that position, she was able to see it. Of all the beds in the nurse's office, there was one bed in particular that couldn't be seen from the entrance. Underneath that bed lay a limp Nagi. Ah, I see. A blood pack was hidden next to the bed and slowly providing Nagi with a transfusion. The contents of the blood pack were clear. Rather than blood, it seems to have been some kind of saline solution used in emergency hydration. Though it wouldn't be as effective as an actual blood transfusion, it was enough to keep him from going into shock. Though that was the extent of Fujisaki's medical knowledge. She was already surprised that Nagi had been in the nurse's office this whole time. Not only that, but Kiyogiri wasn't talking to the bed that Nagi was under, which sent chills throughout Fujisaki's body. However, there was nobody under the bed that Kiyogiri was facing. But the moment that Fujisaki noticed that, a voice rang out from underneath it.
As soon as everyone's attention was focused on Nagi, I was planning on taking advantage of the opportunity to take someone hostage.
She's still in there somehow. As Fujisaki cautiously lowered her head until it was nearly touching the floor, she was able to make out who was talking. Surprisingly, the person hiding there was clinging to the frame of the bed. Ah, I see. She was like, crafty, clever. How the hell did Kiyogiri see that? Like a ninja clinging to the ceiling. Like a motherfucking ninja. Presumably, if someone had glanced under the bed quickly, they wouldn't have noticed anybody was there. Though Fujisaki had no idea how the person was able to hide under the bed for so long, she could at least understand that their strength was beyond normal human levels. There's no question that the person hiding under the bed was Mikuri Kasaba.
We pretended not to notice. Why?
Mikuro's voice was... Oh, that was her.
but you pretend not to notice. Why?
Makuro's voice was as cold as ice, but Kiyogiri didn't even flinch as she responded.
Because I wanted to hear your side of the story. I knew you were hiding under that bed. Compared to the others, the frame was slightly more pronounced.
Oh, okay. Fujisaki tried comparing the beds to see if this was true, but she couldn't tell the difference at all. Only Kiyogiri's natural observational skills could let her see something like that. Makuro seemed to come to a similar conclusion and appeared from under the bed without making a sound. Her face was stoic and cold. Compared to the bomb inside Monokuma, Fujisaki thought she was even more terrifying. However, Makuro ignored Fujisaki and shifted her gaze to Kiyogiri. She leaned against the wall and let her arms fall to her side as she threw out another question.
Why do you want to hear what I have to say?
Kiyogiri thought about this simple question for a while, as if she was searching within her own heart for the answer.
If I have to provide an answer, it's because I wish to remain neutral.
Kiyogiri quietly looked down.
I'm currently missing most of my memories. I don't know who I am or what talent I had to be accepted into the school.
She could hear Fujisaki gasp behind her, but Kiyogiri didn't mind and continued.
What? Don't we already know that?
Actually, I guess we didn't know that by this point.
But even so, I believe I should listen to what you have to say. Regardless of whether you're good or evil, I must hear all the facts in order to know the truth. Good and evil don't matter. I'll come to a conclusion based on what I see here. I think that's the methodology that's instilled into me. I see. I completely forgotten you were like that, Kiyogiri. Before I listen to what you have to say, I'd like you to ask you one question first. What is it?
Makuro's reply was completely emotionless. Kiyogiri presented her question as if she was asking of herself as well.
What was my talent that allowed me to attend this academy?
The answer to the question was simple.
Kiyogiri, you're the ultimate detective.
The answer marked a turning point for both girls.
Thank you. I have a better understanding of the situation now.
Kiyogiri slowly raised her head and presented a theory.
If my memory loss wasn't just a coincidence, then your group has the ability to erase people's memories. With that in mind, if we take into consideration the situation that unfolded in the gym earlier, I can come to only one possibility. Possibility? Yes. What you said to Tagami when he thought you were taking Fukawa hostage. He claimed that you met 2 years ago. It's possible that actually might be true. The fact that Nagi called out Makuro's name. The fact that the things that Makuro confirmed and denied. Genocide's shoes, outlandish claims.
I'm sorry, is she still talking, or? Oh, no, she wasn't talking. My bad. The fact that Nagi called out Makuro's name, the things that Makuro confirmed and denied, Genocide's shoes, outlandish claims, these key factors that Kiyogiri noted using her special observation skills were converging into her mind to form one answer.
It's possible that Tagami and Fukawa's memories were also erased like mine. But I don't think their circumstances are quite the same as mine. If our memories can be controlled so freely, it calls into question whether the day Monokuma appeared was really the same day we entered the academy. Like you said, it's possible that we've known Toko Fukawa for the last 2 years. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Which Saki cried, while still working on connecting her laptop to Monokuma's parts. Kiyogiri continued, speaking to both Fujisaki and Makuro.
We thought we were knocked unconscious with sleeping gas the moment we arrived at the school, but it's possible that we were simply made to think that's what happened. For example, we may have already spent the last 2 years at Host Academy, and our memories at that time were completely erased. It's even possible that we aren't even ultimates at all, just random people who've been implanted with 16 years worth of false memories.
Though Kiyogiri's claim sounded ridiculous, her face was completely serious. She looked up at Makuro once again.
Which means I'm considering the possibility that your crazy story is actually the truth.
Kiyogiri's declaration filled the room with silence. But she didn't let the silence overwhelm her. Kiyogiri cut through with her own words.
Without evidence, all I can do is make hypotheses. That's why I want to hear what you have to say, Makuro. I have no intention of blindly believing what you're going to say, or what this self-proclaimed hacker who took over Monokuma said.
She paused and lowered her eyes again, and then declared with powerful determination.
Even so, I intend to come to a conclusion as fairly and objectively as I can. But I can only do that if you trust me and tell me the truth.
Kiyogiri's conviction was clear from her voice. Makuro's eyes narrowed slightly, and a tapestry of emotions flashed across her face as she looked toward Kiyogiri. But when she opened her mouth, her expression and her voice were completely devoid of emotion.
That's right. I completely forgot you were like that.
Makuro repeated this to herself, then faced to Kiyogiri and declared.
That must be why Junko took care to erase more of your memories compared to the others. Very well, I'll tell you everything.
And after Makuro placed Nagi back onto the bed, she began to mechanically tell a story. A story of a girl who wanted to fill the world with despair, a girl who only felt truly happy when she was filled with despair herself, and a plan for despair that began 2 years ago, or perhaps even earlier than that. How the world was currently ruled by despair itself. Makuro provided a brief summary of everything she knew about the plan. That's why it sounded even more outrageous than Kiyogiri had expected. And through her story, Kyogiri was able to learn the truth about herself, who she is and why she came to the Academy. The fate of the Academy's real headmaster, Kyogiri's father.
Like, holy shit, we're knocking this shit out in the first hour of the game. Oh my god.
This really had happened. It'd been a short-ass game, wouldn't it? She listened to Makuro's story. Kyogiri remained silent the whole time. Her face went blank when she learned her father had died. Perhaps her memory loss and the absurdity of the situation helped lessen the impact somewhat. But there's no guarantee Kyogiri would even believe her story. After Makuro finished speaking, Kyogiri stayed silent. With her unrivaled mental prowess, she was able to listen to Makuro's story without interrupting her or dismissing it as nonsense. Makuro continued.
You don't have to believe me. After all, any pictures that could prove my story are with Junko. All I can do is talk.
After she said that, Makuro silently walked toward the entrance of the nurse's office. When she arrived at the door, she spoke again without looking back.
But if you don't believe me, you still listened to everything I had to say, so Kyogiri, Fujisaki, thank you.
After apologizing in such a strange tone of voice, she turned back to the bed where Nagi lay breathing weakly.
Make sure Nagi stays rested. When he wakes up, make sure you give him some sports drink from the dining hall or some supply room to drink. Oh, please. Of course, but what are you going to do now?
Asked Kyogiri. Makuro straightened herself up.
Despair. I need to make Junko feel despair. Makuro
continued mumbling to herself as she opened the door.
There's nothing else I can do. No, there's something else you can do.
Makuro stopped walking as Kyogiri spoke firmly.
Regardless of whether Monokuma is really Junko Onishima or Bashiki Madare, if you are dealing with him, he won't be able to lay a finger on Nagi. I don't fully trust you, but if you're really concerned with Nagi's life, I'm willing to work with you. Unlike Bashiki, who's probably abandoned him already. Right? I'm sorry, I don't really work well with others.
Makuro looked away and then bowed her head as she left the nurse's office.
But, I'll do my best.
Doors closed and Makuro was gone.
I'm sorry for involving you in something so dangerous, Fujisaki.
She continued to organize the vast amount of information that Makuro gave her. Kyogiri turned to Fujisaki, who was still working on Monokuma. As she trembled with fear, Fujisaki slowly looked up at Kyogiri.
Kyogiri, what about what Makuro said just now?
Fujisaki's face turned pale as she struggled with her words, and Kyogiri tried to calm her down.
You can't determine if the thing she told us was true or not. There's no need to be afraid.
Fujisaki shook her head and returned to looking at her laptop.
I think she's telling the truth. What are you basing that on? Oh, well, it looks like Monokuma is really being controlled from the outside. Part of the Monokuma system had been connected to
Monokuma's system had been connected to Fujisaki's laptop. She was analyzing the data within its control system. It was then that the Ultimate Programmer noticed something unusual about it.
This control program. I thought it would be another year before the system became fully operational.
Fujisaki started trembling so much that she was unable to continue speaking.
Can't confirm that yet,
said Kyogiri, proposing another possibility to avoid jumping to conclusions.
It's possible that similar program was being developed in secret.
Fujisaki adamantly shook her head and said,
No, that's not it. It just looks really familiar to me.
Kyogiri looked over at Fujisaki's trembling shoulders to peer at the screen, and that's when she noticed.
This program. Fujisaki, did you create this?
All the Ultimate Programmer could do was nod weakly.
Ooh. First floor, main hall.
Makuro continued moving forward and was fortunate enough to not encounter Ugami or Uwada. With no interference with anyone, she made her way to a hall as large as the gym stood before the sealed main entrance. Suddenly, Monokuma popped out from the shadows to block her path. Within this hall that resembled a nuclear bomb shelter, replete with all manner of heavy weaponry, Monokuma's silhouette was conspicuously out of place here. His laughter rang throughout the room as he wiggled his own body from side to side.
What were you doing? What were you doing at the nurse's office? Did you eliminate your rival for Nagi's affections? Or did you help play matchmaker instead?
Oh, does that mean Nagi had a thing for, Kyogiri? I thought it was, Mizuno.
Either way, don't you think it's kind of adorable to put Nagi and Kyogiri in this situation together?
Oh, he is? Okay, apparently. Nagi loved Kyogiri. Had a thing for Kyogiri. Giggity.
As we're suspenseful, those two will be in the last couple standing. Well, this is a horror film, they just die anyway. The killer was alive all along. Splat goes the blood, plop goes the meat. I'm a huge fan of endings where the characters think they're gonna live, but they're really headed to the final destination. Wait, what the hell is destination? What does that even mean?
Despite Monokuma's angry complaints, Makuro remained unperturbed. She continued to stir ice daggers at Monokuma as if she was waiting for him to finish speaking.
Well, anyway, I'm just so sad right now. Regulation-breaking delinquent is disrupting the harmony of this peaceful academy. I haven't gotten a fucking class trial yet. What the fuck? Can't even keep one of my students from running wild. I say goodbye. By your incompetent headmaster. I'm gonna use Monokuma Evolution to become a big magnum headmaster and mold you into a decent student.
As soon as he said that, Monokuma extended his claws and walled toward Makuro.
So if I'm gonna mold you, then I gotta kill you first.
As he finished speaking, Monokuma suddenly charged at Makuro like a spiked volleyball.
Here I come, slut!
But Makuro was faster and dodged Monokuma's attacks. She jumped back, keeping her distance from Monokuma just in case her claws could extend even longer. Just then, a shadowy figure appeared next to her. Makuro twisted her body to its limits and just nearly evaded the figure's attack. When she landed on the floor, she immediately saw.
Woo! So what does the immortal killer want anyway? Does the immortal killer want anyway? Are you gonna tell the others the truth and escape with them? Even though you know what the outside world is like right now.
Two Monokumas were speaking to Makuro in unison. Fuck.
Honestly, I don't mind if you do that. I can just imagine the whole look on everyone's face when they discover the truth. It fills me with such heart-throbbing excitement.
Two Monokumas continue to speak in stereo sound.
You say you destroyed my plans, but there's no happy ending waiting for you no matter which route you take. And you only have yourself to blame for that. Don't tell me you thought they'd be grateful to you. If you guys escape here, do you think they'll still forgive you when they get a whiff of that nasty air outside? Some of them might prefer to stay in the school, and some of them might resent you for being kind and showing them the truth. But then again, this is all your fault anyway, so it doesn't really matter what they think of you. Monokuma made a little mistake.
So by facing down two Monokumas, Makuro's expression didn't waver. She understood that controlling two Monokumas simultaneously was a piece of cake for Junko. Makuro drew an arm-length metal bar from seemingly nowhere and raided herself. It was the remains of the IV stand from the nurse's office, sharpened to a pointed weapon. With her weapon in hand, Makuro responded in a cold, mechanical tone.
That's fine. I'm already used to that.
None of the fear that she felt when Monokuma suggested that Nagi would blame her appeared on her face. Her path was clear to her now, and she calmly issued her demand to Monokuma.
Junko, open the gates.
Shock of such a straightforward demand left both Monokumas momentarily speechless. Soon they replied.
Huh? Why? So we can all leave together.
Another straightforward answer, but both Monokumas faced each other and began gesturing as if they were whispering to one another. Makuro knew their movements were intended to mock her. Unmoved, she continued to speak to Junko directly.
I think they'll understand if I show them the outside world. And then they'll stop doubting Nagi. You'll always find new ways to disappoint me, Makuro. Did you forget why the school has an air filtration system? It's true the air outside is polluted, but I don't think it'll kill us immediately. Besides, it's better than being trapped in school and forced to kill each other. How can you be sure the others will go along with you? You know what I mean, right? Before the former headmaster got turned into a space dust, he interviewed the others and said they'd all agree they want to stay in the school. That was before their memories had even been erased. Do you really want to betray their wishes?
Makuro blinked and stepped forward.
I don't really care about their feelings. Huh? You're all I need, Junko. So don't worry, I'm always watching out for you. I'm gonna make you feel sure you feel despair, and I'm going to make Nagi and the others happy. If you want to revel in your own despair that badly, then I'll trust the hope that Nagi gave me and take my chances with them instead of you.
Makuro's brief but powerful words caused the Monokumas to turn and walk to each other again.
Oh my, this doesn't look good at all, Monokuma, eh? This child doesn't realize her own hypocrisy. She's so disappointed that she started to reach critical mass, right, Monokuma B?
The two Monokumas looked at Makuro, who seemed ready to destroy them, and said,
What do you think, Monokuma C?
Makuro was taken back by their question, but her instinct suddenly kicked in and she immediately dodged away. At the moment, a third Monokuma's claws extended past by her head and about where her head had been previously. This new Monokuma unit landed with several spins and faced Makuro, who clung to the reins of a surveillance camera still attached to the ceiling.
I agree with both of you, with you both, A and B.
The Monokumas lined themselves up. To the students locked inside the academy, this sight would have been akin to a nightmare. Oh my god, dude! How could I be flipping shit? No way, dude, what's happening?
Right on, Bo!
Three units began speaking in perfect harmony as their six eyes looked up at Makuro. Suddenly they jumped away in three separate directions and kicked off one of the walls like a fucking Matrix movie. The path of each unit's triangular attack all converged on a single point, Makuro, who was still clinging to the ceiling. She was surrounded by razor-sharp flaws.
Typo!
Razor-sharp claws coming at her from different directions. This situation wasn't even a nightmare to Makuro. Compared to the time she fended off three assassins who invaded her camp one night back when she was still a member of the Fenrir, this was nothing. This thought crossed Makuro's mind. She dangled from the ceiling with one hand and thrashed her limbs around like a tornado. Intercepted by this move, Monokumas fell to the floor with a loud crash. Makuro Makura landed on the ground and chased after one of them, branching her middle bar. Suddenly, she stopped moving and took a huge leap back. One of the Monkumas had exploded with a deafening roar. He had detonated the bomb inside of himself in an attempt to take Makura down with him. But thanks to her home battlefield instincts, Makura had managed to avoid the explosion.
God damn! What are you, crouching tiger hidden slut? Damn it!
She looked toward the hallway, expecting the explosion to have attracted the attention of Ogami and the others. She didn't hear any footsteps approaching. Monkuma's voice rang from within the dense smoke.
Oh, you don't have to worry. I told the other students there's someone in the cafeteria. Were you gonna follow my orders if I told them I'd disarm the poison gas? The special police unit was coming to get them. I'm pretty sure Kiger and the others are all in the cafeteria by now. I'm sure Nagi is with them too. I doubt Ogami will get too rough with him, but I'm sure Takami will torture him. Nagi once he wakes up.
You're damn right I will. I don't give a shit about him or anybody else. I'm awesome. You suck. Suck my balls.
I just imagine him rubbing salt or pouring soy sauce in his open wounds. Man, I'm getting all hot and bothered right now. Woo!
As she listened to Monokuma's overlapping voices, Makura tilted her head slightly and asked,
I'm pretty sure they're going to find out that you lied about that special police unit. Are you really okay with that? No worries! Once I've done with you, I don't care at all if they find out I was lying. Still don't get it! You're such a disappointment!
oh my god, there's like more of these Monokumas showing up. It suddenly dawned on Makura. Not the reason why Monokuma didn't care if the students found out he lied. Rather, the voices of the Monokumas in the smoke were gradually increasing in numbers. As the smoke started to clear, the shadows of 3 Monokumas appeared. The one that exploded couldn't have revived, so a new one must have come to take its place. But there's no way Makura had only 3 Monokumas starting just now. As if to prove her hearing had been accurate, the Monokumas suddenly started moving, made their move. 3 Monokumas bent over and began twirling their upper bodies. From behind them, new Monokumas emerged like after-images brought to life. The second row of Monokumas mimicked the earlier ones with only 1 frame of delay, revealing even more Monokumas behind them.
Oh my god, when will it end?
Eventually, the Makura realized that there were 3 rows containing 10 Monokumas each.
Did you know this is called a circle dance?
Monokuma's 30 voices spoke in perfect harmonies that divulged information that had nothing to do with the current situation. Makura already knew that the multiple Monokumas were positioned throughout the academy, but only Juko knew how many Monokumas actually existed. Makura had no way of knowing if these 30 Monokumas were part of a larger contingent. A flock of 2-toned teddy bears continued to twirl around. Makura felt like she was being bombarded with hypnotic images. But faced with this abnormal sight, the ultimate soldier remained calm and maintained her focus. She was nothing like the girl who had panicked earlier in the gym when Nagi was impaled. As she stood before 30 emissaries of despair, she slowed her breathing and allowed her heart rate to accelerate. It was instinct, not fear or panic, that sent her blood racing throughout her body, speeding up the reaction time of her cells. As her senses sharpened, the Monokumas began speaking to her again.
Don't worry, I'll make sure Nagi doesn't die. As long as everyone lives, I can reset their memories as many times as I want. Boom! That's right, all your hope, all your effort, hope, dreams, and determination are going right in the garbage heap.
The Monokumas took turns speaking in groups of 10. This is the mastermind controlling the Monokumas and want to show off her ability to manipulate them. However, the Ultimate Soldier knew what the true purpose behind all this was. She strained her ears to the limit and noticed a certain sound hidden among the Monokumas' voices. Makura's face remained perfectly still. She kicked off the floor. The moment she moved to the side, a roaring sound shook the entrance hall. The ceiling-mounted turrets in front of the gate started raining bullets down on Makura. Monokumas were just Mastermind's decoy while she tried to blow her away. As if further trapping her, the Monokumas charged at Makura through the storm of bullets. Makura guessed that the Mastermind programmed the movements in advance so they wouldn't get hit by a single bullet. I don't know why she keeps saying Mastermind. She is. I don't know why she's saying Mastermind instead of Junko. She ran for the gates, evading waves of bullets and claws every step of the way. Programming 30 Monokumas in 2 turrets while also predicting Makura's escape route. This would be considered impossible for anyone, but Makura knew it was possible for Junko. For some fucking reason. As ultimate despair, she possessed despair-inducing abilities that surpassed the capabilities of any normal human. Her display of power was only for filling Makura with despair. Despair. The scene playing out in front of Makura was brimming with despair. The adorably deadly Monokumas laughed and danced like reapers as bullets whizzed through the air. It was despair to the point of absurdity. It was all for Makura. But the presence of such despair, Makura felt a strange serenity.
For me? Juko's doing all this for me? Juko, are you watching me right now?
In the end, perhaps Makura really was a disappointment. She clenched her fists.
Junko, thank you.
The sound of gunfire overshadowed a whisper, and Makura felt completely silent. As a member of Ultimate Despair, Makura's heart was filled with joy. But she was filled with emotion. Her eyes had lost their sparkle. Silence filled the air. Even the gunfire from the turret seemed to stop for a moment. That was only an illusion to the one controlling Monokuma. Something strong enough to silence the gunfire and avoid being picked up by the sensors spread through the school, with Makura at the center.
I'll make sure I do this right.
With that final thought, she closed her mouth and turned off her emotions. As she ran through the waves of scorching bullets, the air around her began to grow colder. As this coldness spread into her heart, it began to beat in a mechanical fashion. Several seconds later, Makuro's body and mind melted together and became one with their surroundings. Oh my god, she became Neo. Her temperature now dominated the battlefield. Despair, bullets, and Monokumas filled the area. Makuro predicted their movements and jumped into the air without any hesitation. One of the Monokumas jumped at her, but she avoided his attack, kicked his body, and launched herself in midair. Bullets pierced through the space Makuro was previously occupying, striking the falling Monokuma right through its internal bond.
Oh my god, this is crazy!
The impact of the bullet caused it to explode, sending fiery Monokuma parts everywhere. As she rode the blast wave, Makuro bounced herself in midair. She kicked away 3 Monokumas that leapt after her. She moved so gracefully she was practically flying. Whee! Whee! In contrast, the Monokuma threw themselves into the path of oncoming bullets, exploding one after the other. Some of them exploded near the entrance, but their blast didn't even leave a scratch. With full control of the entrance hall, Makuro evaded bullets and confirmed that the bombs inside the Monokumas were enough to destroy the door. But she refused to stop. Makuro needed to get information on what she must do to escape the academy. She had no desire to kill Junko. Makuro wanted to fill Junko with despair by instilling hope into the future of Nagi and the other students. That was Makuro's ultimate goal. Get information, get information. In contrast to her determination, her mouth stayed shut. But this did not mean Makuro is not currently speaking to Junko. This situation, this battle of death and destruction, was a conversation of sorts for Makuro. All she knew how to do was fight. She thought she wasn't interested in anything else. She thought she didn't need anything else. All Makuro needed was a sword to fulfill her sister's desire for despair. That purpose alone was the crux of her existence, and she lived her entire life convincing herself that she couldn't do anything else. That's why power was like a language to Makuro. A battle to the death revealed more about her heart than mere words ever could. Her words were in the wind of savagery that blows across the battlefield, uprooting others who also speak the language of violence. This was true even against her sister. When Junko would berate her sister, Makuro couldn't talk back. All she could do was cower and apologize profusely. But it's different now. For the first time, Junko was using a language her sister actually recognized. The child of despair who tore the world apart was speaking to her sister with the language of power. Makuro's heart filled with joy. For that reason, she strengthened her focus on conversation with Junko. That emotion began to gradually disappear. On this frigid battlefield, Makuro continued her heated conversation. Endless rounds of despair fired from the school's turrets, but Makuro's words intercepted every last one violent shot and threatened to shatter her body and mind in half. like a class trial. I get it. She quickly realized that the Monokumas hadn't decreased in number at all, and no matter how many times she kept destroying. Not only that, she noticed that more Monokumas had been joining the fray until there were nearly 50 of them for Makuro to fight. Makuro's resolve wouldn't break so easily. As she continued to wield her power, her heart began to fill with something she was neither hope nor despair. She learned despair from being abandoned by Junko. She learned hope from her acts of violence. Makuro, who had no interest in this world, the small space in front of the gate was a reflection of her life, a representation of her perfect world. This disappointing girl filled with endless disappointment, who knew of no other way to live, continued her lonely dance. She surrendered herself to the rhythm of despair which accompanies the music of hope.